You hit the wall and you feel that this time I need to change. This time I need to do stuff, a dramatic change, a power move to get me out of my situation. It feels as though you keep on snapping back to a reality that you don't want to live in. That you work super hard, you are focused, but then you come back to this point where you have to reinvent yourself, because just continuing on, grinding on with the same blueprint you used the previous week is not going to be sufficient. You need to do something that is so significant that it alters your everyday life in some way. For me, this is often the case. It feels that at least 2 times per month, I come to the point where I have to completely change again. It's a cycle. I go on, it goes well, I do my stuff, it feels great, life is good. But then I hit that point where I can't go on anymore. The way I can show you this is to draw it up for you. Okay, so this is you or me. We keep on hitting a wall. So we hit this wall and we need to find a way past it. Obviously, we don't want to be stuck in life. So this time we go over the wall. But the next wall we hit, we can't go over. So this time we go under it. And that's a simple way of saying that we need to always find new ways of getting past the barriers in our life. Because if we don't get past them, we're just going to remain in the same miserable, mediocre life we have. So keep on getting over them, under them, whatever. Just getting past them. That's what's important. This reminds me of some sort of video game, the meta, that keeps on changing. And the example of this is, of course, Fortnite, that I unfortunately spent way too many hours on in my back a few years back. How this worked in game in Fortnite was that the weapons you used to fight other players would get changed. Their damage output would get tweaked a little bit, buffed or nerfed, and this reload speed and just firing speed and everything would change, would slightly shift. And because of these just small changes in the weapons, players would start to abandon certain weapons, certain tactics, and go on to new ones. And this, of course, meant that you couldn't just go on with the same setup. You couldn't just go with the same weapons, the same strategies in the game, because then everybody else would just eliminate you every single match. Because you're playing with old tactics. Your playbook is outdated. And everybody has their new playbook that tells them how to counter you. Because that's often the case in video games, that somebody makes up a genius tactic, a way to win the game that is so intelligent that it just wins every game for them in the beginning. And new players look at that and like, whoa, I gotta learn this. And then as time goes on, more and more players start to learn this new tactic. And when the majority of players have learned it, it becomes useless. Because then everyone's level, pretty much. And then another guy comes in and introduces a new tactic, wins a lot of matches, the majority of players go on, copy it, and so on and so forth. And in life, it feels as though it's very similar, that I constantly have to change the way I live, to do something that I'm gonna make a change that's gonna be felt every single day, and have to often do that, because otherwise I'm just gonna get complacent and my work efficiency is just gonna drop. And what this may depend on, I don't really know, but I do have a theory. It may be that there's some kind of underlying factor, something in our lives that we refuse to accept that is hurting us in our development. A habit we do, something that we may find a lot of joy in, a specific hobby perhaps. And we want to keep it around, we keep telling ourselves, even subconsciously, that hey, this thing is good for me. I need to keep doing this thing because it brings me some joy, it brings some balance in my life. It may be that one thing that causes us to all the time have to make new power moves, in order to stay atop of the game. It may be this one thing that drags us down. It's kind of like having a huge anchor tied to your neck, dragging you down. That's how it feels like. So it could be this one underlying thing, but it's hard to spot it in our lives because, hey, it's something that we may keep ourselves from understanding just how dangerous it is for us. What I'm saying right now may just be a confession that I have something in my life that I need to remove, but that I find some joy in, that it's just so hard to get away from. It could also be that we simply change so quickly that when we go through this period of improvement, of developing ourselves, we're gonna notice change quickly. And so we have to keep on changing our identity and updating our strategies, kind of like in Fortnite. And we have to get a new setup of weapons to use in order to combat the enemies that we're gonna face. We have to keep on updating that because our life, the difficulty of our life levels up as we level up. It's in a video game where you start out by killing the lowest level of enemies, but as you move up, you have to face harder and harder enemies to take down until you get to that final boss. So that might just be it, that we have to change, that it's natural that when we are on this path where we seek change, because that's actually what we do. The whole reason why we started on with our self-improvement journey is to get away from something in our life or just our lifestyle in general and get to a point that we believe we can get to, the so-called potential of us. And so we have to keep on changing all the time to keep coming closer to this point, because we never know when we're going to reach our potential. We always know that it's probably so far ahead of us, but we can never know when we're going to reach it. We never know when we're taking a massive step in the right direction. So we cannot change all things in life constantly in order to feel and see, am I getting closer or am I not? So to keep on grinding and doing the same things over and over again, of course we're gonna become complacent. Of course we're gonna feel that we're getting further and further away from our potential, because as time goes on, the potential decreases, right? Because the more time you have to reach the potential. And if potential is capped by time, it means that the less time you have, the lower your potential. We also know that in order to change, in order to get the rewards that we are promising ourselves, we need to go into the hard times. We need to get out of our comfort zone, experience discomfort, experience pain, because that's where the majority of the growth can be found. And so if we're just getting complacent, doing the same things over and over again, even if we're doing some meaningful work in front of our computers, it's still gonna drag us down like that anchor tied to our neck. So this feeling of having to reinvent ourselves may just be because we get into a comfort zone, and because we're used to seeking discomfort, or at least that we know that it's a part of the journey, and because of this we find discomfort in what would normally be a comfortable position. Kind of like doing nothing. Imagine a person just laying on the sofa each day, scrolling on their phone or just watching stuff on the computer, or working from home each day. How many people you know wouldn't love that life? Oh, that's great because I get to take a chill, be at home. What's not to like about that? But for us, that's the opposite of what we want. Because we know, because we are so aware of our potential, where we can get to in life, we experience so much pain by being in our comfort zones. And hey, if we have managed to get in a position where we will feel discomfort by being comfortable, that's fantastic. Because that means we have even bigger chance, greater probability of succeeding. I've been panicking a lot over this, that I constantly need to change to reinvent myself. And I've been wondering, am I doing something wrong? But I think it's a part of the game. That it's all natural that we're gonna change, that we're gonna have to do so. Because not doing so just means we're staying behind. We're not using the meta in the game. Everybody updates their setup in Fortnite, the weapons they use, but we don't. That says itself, we're not gonna win those victory royales. We're not gonna get those 20 eliminations per game. Because in order to get that, we need to keep changing. As the meta changes, we need to change as well. Because otherwise, we're just giving up. We're telling everybody else that, yeah, I'm playing this game, but I'm just here. I'm not gonna try to win. Because refusing to accept the new meta in the game, regardless of how stubborn you are, it's gonna cost you. So this constant need to evolve may be a good thing. And these walls we hit when I feel that this isn't working, this is tough, this is difficult, it's a sign that we have to do something. Because if we wouldn't get those walls coming against us, we would just stay the same, playing Fortnite with a blindfold on, not knowing what's going on. That's how I see this need to reinvent ourselves, this need that we feel so often, at least for me. We can see this evolving as playing Pokemon Go or any Pokemon game. So you have your candy that you can use in order to evolve a Pokemon, so taking that Pokemon from a current stage to a much more powerful one. So every time we hit that wall, when we feel that, oh, I need to change, this is not working, it's an indication that we have enough candy to evolve our Pokemon, so that we can evolve ourselves, become much more powerful. That's one way of looking at it, I suppose. Enough with the video game references. If we look at the self-improvement journey, we know that it's going to go up and down, but over time, it's going to go up exponentially. But these ups and downs, on the short term, it's hard to accept. Because we are on this journey, we think that, oh great, it's just going to get better from now on. When in reality, we're going to suffer setbacks. We're going to have those days when we hit a new low. At least it feels that way. When in reality, it's just needed. Because without going down, we won't be able to accelerate, get speed, and go up exponentially. So it's a part of the equation to suffer those setbacks. Because that's often where we learn the most. Where we get that valuable experience. It's going to tell us that, hey, don't do this again, or do this next time. You now have enough candy to evolve the Pokemon that is you. To do so, press that subscribe button and like this video. And with that, I'm leaving you.